In 1928, a scientist named Alexander Fleming went on vacation and forgot to clean up his lab. When he came back 2 weeks later, one of his bacterial cultures was ruined, contaminated by mold. Most people would have tossed it in the trash and moved on, but Fleming looked closer. That moldy mistake, it became penicillin, the antibiotic that saved over 200 million lives. One careless error changed medicine forever. And here's the thing, history is absolutely loaded with moments like this. Brilliant discoveries that happened because someone did something incredibly dumb. Today, we're diving into the dumbest smart thing ever invented. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll never look at failure the same way again. So, what makes something the dumbest smart thing? It's when the logic behind an invention or discovery seems completely backward, reckless even, but somehow it works. And not just works, it revolutionizes everything. Let me give you another example before we get to the big one. In the 1940s, engineer Percy Spencer was working with military radar equipment called a magnetron. One day, he noticed the chocolate bar in his pocket had melted. Now, most of us would just be annoyed about the mess. Spencer, he got curious. He started putting other food near the magnetron, popcorn kernels, an egg. The popcorn popped, the egg exploded in a colleague's face, and from that ridiculous series of events, we got the microwave oven. Something that seemed like a random, borderline stupid observation became a kitchen staple in millions of homes. But here's where it gets interesting. These weren't just lucky accidents. There's a pattern here, a specific kind of thinking that turns dumb into genius. And the invention we're about to talk about, it takes this concept to an entirely different level. Because what if I told you that one of the most important safety devices ever created came from an idea so reckless, so seemingly idiotic, that the inventor had to literally risk his life to prove it worked?
Let's rewind to 1912. The Titanic had just sunk and the world was in shock. Over 1,500 people died, many of them freezing in the icy Atlantic waters while lifeboats sat half empty. The tragedy exposed a brutal truth. Even when rescue was possible, people couldn't survive long enough in the water to be saved. Hypothermia killed them in minutes. Enter Garrett Morgan, an African-American inventor living in Cleveland, Ohio. Morgan had already invented the traffic signal, but he was obsessed with a different problem: how to protect people in dangerous, toxic, or suffocating environments. Firefighters were dying in burning buildings, not from the flames, but from smoke inhalation. Miners were being killed by poisonous gases underground. Morgan wanted to create a device that would let people breathe safely in these life-or-death situations. So he invented something called the safety hood, an early version of the gas mask. It had a long tube that reached down toward the ground, where cooler, cleaner air sat below the smoke and fumes. On paper, it was genius, but here's the problem. No one believed it would actually work, especially not in 1914 America, where a black inventor trying to sell a life-saving device to white fire departments faced an uphill battle drenched in prejudice. Morgan knew he had to do something drastic.
So he did the dumbest smart thing imaginable. He staged live demonstrations where he walked into burning buildings filled with toxic smoke, wearing his safety hood, staying inside for extended periods while crowds watched in disbelief.
What? Still in there?
He hired
a
a white actor to pose as the inventor while he pretended to be the assistant just to get through the door. The demonstrations worked. Orders started coming in from fire departments across the country. But the real test came in 1916. A tunnel explosion 250 feet beneath Lake Erie trapped dozens of workers in a hellish mix of smoke, dust, and poisonous gas. Rescue teams tried to go in and were driven back. Several rescuers died attempting to save the trapped men. Garrett Morgan heard about the disaster, grabbed his safety hoods, and rushed to the scene. He went down into that tunnel multiple times, pulling out survivors and bodies while everyone else stood helpless above ground. The newspapers
Morgan,
called
you're
him
a hero.
His invention became undeniable, but think about what he actually did. He risked his life repeatedly to prove that a device designed to save lives actually worked. The dumbest smart thing ever wasn't just the invention itself, it was the method of proving it. And here's the kicker. Morgan's safety hood became the prototype for the modern gas mask, which has since saved countless lives in wars, industrial accidents, pandemics, and beyond. A device born from desperation and proven through reckless bravery.
So why does this matter to you? Because we've been taught that success comes from careful planning, from avoiding mistakes, from playing it safe. But the dumbest smart thing ever teaches us something radically different. Progress often requires doing something that looks insane from the outside. Fleming's dirty lab, Spencer's melted chocolate, Morgan walking into literal death traps. These weren't just accidents, they were moments where someone saw potential in chaos, where logic met madness and created something transformative. And the truth is, you probably have a dumb idea sitting in the back of your mind right now. Something you've dismissed because it seems too risky, too weird, too unconventional. But what if that's exactly why it matters? What if the dumbest thing you could do is also the smartest? Garrett Morgan didn't wait for permission. He didn't wait for society to be ready. He built something, proved it worked in the most extreme way possible, and changed history. So here's my challenge to you. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop dismissing the ideas that feel a little reckless, because the dumbest smart thing ever wasn't dumb at all. It was brave. And maybe, just maybe, your dumb idea is the next one that saves lives, changes industries, or inspires millions. What's your dumbest smart idea? Drop it in the comments. I want to hear it.